Now it's time to draw lips. Lips are really fun to draw and they can be really expressive. Here we have 3 different mouths, but we can see that the basic shapes are the same. They are just variations on the same smooth, arcing shape. So keep those basic shapes in mind as you get into drawing more complex mouths. The shapes are still there, just with a couple indentations and additions. Similar to drawing a nose, drawing a simple mouth breaks down into just a few steps. A simple smile starts with 2 tiny triangles, lightly connected with a line. Then another line at the bottom that angles upward on both sides to connect to the triangles. Then you can draw the fullness of the bottom lip and blend it with a stump. I'll also drag my stump across the top lip, which is quite skinny in comparison, since that lip really pulls in a smile. Now I just define a little bit more where the canine teeth would be, and around the lips as well. Now I'm drawing 2 squished circles like this. I connect them with a line and go right into the plumpness of the lips by adding a sketchy tone. Then I quickly smooth it out with my stump. Now I darken these rice-like shapes and I add a rounded line in the middle. I decide these lips will have a defined Cupid's bow, so I add this little dip. Now I'm just darkening up the top lip and again blending it in. My kneaded eraser is super helpful for cleaning up the edges. And now I'm just coming back in with my pencils to refine those edges even more. Here I add a highlight line with my kneaded eraser, and I make the highlight even brighter with a couple dabs of my white gel pen. Now for this mouth, I begin with a small curved diamond shape. Then I draw 2 thick lines like this, and then connect it all. Now I'm drawing the shape of the upper lip, and the shape of the lower lip. They're almost like little rounded hills. As usual, I can smooth out easily with my stump. And now it's time to define. Using my 4B pencil, I go in and sort of outline all the marks I just made. On the lower lip, you'll see I just defined the very bottom. I like to leave the sides undefined, because if you outline it all the way around, it can start to look strange. Now I'm just finishing up by adding a darker tone all over the lips, and blending it out. This time I start just by going straight into those mounds. As you work, you'll begin to form a process that works most efficiently for you. It may be to start with lines, or you may like to jump immediately into shapes of value. This is up for you to decide. You can reach the same endpoint with a variety of different approaches, so explore each process until you find the right fit. So for this character, I'm just going right in with the most basic of basic lip shapes, a simple rounded form, and I'm just going in and blending that. Now with my 4B, I draw those 2 dark round shapes at the corners of the mouth. And then I'm putting a thick line right at the center. Notice how I really don't connect it all the way with a line here. Now with my 3H, I'm going in and I'm defining her upper lip at the Cupid's bow. And I decide to lightly round off her upper lip. Then I just color in the whole upper lip with a darker tone. You'll find in most lighting situations, the upper lip will be darker in value in comparison to the bottom lip. This is just how light falls on the lips when the subject is lit from above. My kneaded eraser is great for cleaning up edges, and for lifting off some of the pencil lead gradually. Now to finish up these lips, I just darken up the bottom and smooth it all out. Now let's draw some mouths in a 3/4 view. It's really quite interesting, but you can even draw lips when you start out with a simple shape like this. You can also start them out with simple lines. As you work, you'll start to get comfortable with both methods. I'm going to start by showing you a simple smile. I draw 2 little triangle shapes, and I connect them at the tops with a line. Then I come down at a slight angle, and then with a rounded touch, thinking about the curve of the teeth, bring that back to the other triangle. Now I sort of mimic that curve to make the form of the bottom lip. And I add a tiny triangle to make the suggestion of a canine tooth. I just like to hint at the teeth. I found that if you draw every line between the teeth, it can start to look strange really quickly, so I just hint at the teeth in this way. Now I've added a value to the lips, and I'm just blending it with a stump. Now it's time to define. I use my 4B pencil to redefine and darken those triangles at the corners of the mouth, and then I pick a couple other areas to define as well. Now I'm starting with a simple dipped line. I add a quick shape of value to the bottom as well. With my stump, again, this is made easy to smooth out. After blending with my stump, I go in with my 4B pencil and darken the corners of the mouth to add some depth. Then for some variation, I connect them with a smooth, almost V-like shape. Now I'm switching to my 3H and I'm redefining the bottom lip. Now with the top lip, I'll also give that little V-dip at the Cupid's bow. Experiment with drawing lips. There are so many fun little variations. The process is basically the same, but like with the other features, you can get really interesting characteristics when you vary the shapes, even just a little bit. This will give your character individuality from your other characters. With my kneaded eraser now, I'm just lifting off some of the lead to give the lip a lighter value. For dramatic highlights though, grab your white gel pen. With a couple dabs, you can give the lips a glossy look. Now I'm going to draw the lips slightly parted. First I draw a little squished oval. I go up a little and color it in, and then draw another squished oval. Then I connect the two with a line like this. And now I just connect the bottom with the most subtle of V shapes. No need to overcomplicate this. You'll get the hang of these different lines with some practice. Now I'm just following the shape and I'm adding a little value. And then I add this rounded shape of value for the bottom lip too. With the stump, I can easily blend this out to make it smooth. My pencil works to discover the shape, and then my stump always comes in and saves the day. Now I'm just darkening and defining with my 4B pencil. This brings the drama back to all the fuzziness. Then from there, I proceed with the usual steps. Defining with my 3H, darkening with my 4B, cleaning up and pulling up subtle tones with my kneaded eraser, and smoothing out with my blending stumps. So now with a character, I'm going to show you how you can even draw lips from a blob. So I'm putting down a blob of value, almost diamond-like in shape. And now I'm blending it and adding those dark outer corners. I would encourage you to play around with drawing lips. They are so expressive and really affect the look of your character. Just changing the lips can almost make them into a different personality. So grab a piece of paper and try drawing some lips. Try starting with a line, or starting with the corners, or starting with even a simple blob like this. I think you'll be surprised by how much you can do. Feel free to copy any of the lips I've drawn here, or look online for real-life lip references to get other ideas. Alright, now let's talk about expressions.